as someone who represents a ward on the outskirts of the city and whose ward has really been chipped away in size over the last few years. Nothing against Councillor Curry and the people of her ward, but our ward has gotten smaller. So I do have concerns about the sprawl that our city sees, and the effect that that has on, agricultural resource lands, and just constituents who don't want to live in Canada. They want to live in West Carleton, and then that's why I live in West Carleton and not Canada. But the more urban boundary expansion we see, the more of Ward 4 comes into Ward 5. And this doesn't please me or many of my residents. So obviously I share many of the concerns that Councillor Curry just mentioned a moment ago. You will hear us talking at Planning and Housing Committee often about the expansions between our wards and the lack of infrastructure and how it doesn't keep up. Councillor Kitts will mention that regularly as well from her end of town. I don't see these changes helping with that. In fact, I see it making it worse. And I have a couple of questions now, which may seem dumb, but I just wanted to explore. So do we currently have, and I'm guessing this is an easy answer given the housing crisis that we're seeing, but do we feel as a city that we currently have enough housing options for our current population or for the projected growth that we had in our last official plan?
Well, Chair, that would be just in terms of supply, in terms of permissions through the intensification area and our designated land. We believe that there are not sufficient options in terms of just that supply component. However, there are other variables that may make it difficult for some parts of the population to access that supply.
So, and what about our current land projections, our current available land to develop on? Do we have enough supply for now and for the populations that we used for our last official plan?
So Chair, staff reports on that through the Greenfield Residential Land Survey. The last survey we brought forward to Planning and Housing Committee indicated that we do have sufficient supply. We have more than the 3-year minimum of service supply. In fact, I believe we have close to 7 years that Ms. Millens had indicated earlier. We have more than 15-year supply as a minimum. And we look at a designated land, including what council brought in through the new official plan, we have a 25-year supply.
And would you agree that increasing land supply does not necessarily increase the amount of housing options or supply for the population?
Chair, I would agree with that statement in the short and medium terms.
Thank you. First of all, has the city, I guess this will be my last and most substantial question for you, Mr. Fu. Has the city determined that it will not be able to meet the new provincial policy statement population projections using existing infrastructure and lands that are already within the urban boundary?
So Chair, staff have not provided that, have not done that analysis, and that's actually part of the process that staff is providing for recommending in this framework is to go through that examination. It's starting in 2025 for that update.
Okay. And then if we find we are able, if it is our position, it's our policy, our planning policy people's position that we have enough supply of land to accommodate those changes, would it then be your opinion that we would reject any applications to expand the urban boundary to accommodate that?
Chair, if there's staff confidence in that scenario, then staff would likely refuse applications if there's sufficient supply as required in under the PPS.
And I guess that's where everyone is concerned about this going to the OLT and us losing complete control over the ability to determine where our urban boundary is and where our village boundaries are. So those are my questions. Those are my concerns for now. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.